just when you thought it was safe to go to Chicago and win a game. Well, baseball happened today, and the offense was anemic. Yiner.
Yainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros. We hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talkstros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Thank you for making us part of your daily routine, whether it's on YouTube. Go and subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen, Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and become an everydayer. Somebody listens to our podcast every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/lockedonmlb and use the code all lowercase lockedonmlb for a first deposit match up to $100. So I'm sure a lot of people had Cannon going 8 2/3 innings in this game. So I'm sure the over under of that was some people made some money, right?
No, yeah, exactly. Well, this is a guy that's never pitched a complete game, even in the minor leagues. He almost did it today. But before we get started, before we move on to this, there's something else that I think we need to recognize. We just got word during the game that Willie Mays passed away at the age of 93. He played his first pro game at Rickwood Field as a 17-year-old. And who would have thought that at 17, this kid would become the say, hey, kid. He would become the guy who made amazing catches behind, over his shoulder, World Series champion, was part of a Rockefeller painting. I mean, this guy truly lived in an era of baseball where baseball wasn't ultra friendly to Willie Mays himself. He was one of the several major league players, Hall of Famers that I had the honor of meeting growing up as a kid and got his autograph.
I know this is not autographed, but I do have a Willie Mays baseball card here, and this is something my parents won at auction. I want to say like 20 to 30 years ago. So this guy has he's got a name. He's got a long history from playing in Negro Leagues to just coming to play for the Giants and just being to say, hey, kid, just for making helping pave the way to what baseball is now. And so 93 years old, that's I hope I live that long. I don't know if I want to sometimes because I've seen how old 93-year-olds are and what they look like. But at the same time, he had a great life. And prayers to his family and everybody that's rooted for him throughout his entire career.
Well, he was a 25-time All-Star. He was a 12-time Gold Glove Award winner. He actually received the Presidential Medal of Freedom. So this guy accomplished a lot and went through a lot. So we just want to send our condolences to his friends and family. We know Dusty Baker, former manager of the Astros, was real close to Willie Mays, and several players were even younger. I know CC Sabathia was actually pretty close to him. Barry Bonds, right. He was actually Barry Bonds' godfather. After the passing of Bobby Bonds, Barry and Willie Mays got really close, and so he mentored him a lot of the way through his baseball career. So with that being said, Eric, the Astros are in Chicago. They're on the south side. Right. And you're like, hey, we're going to sweep them, right?
Well, I think you're the one that kind of used those words, but I was hoping for a sweep. But hold on. Okay, but the Astros got 7 hits, and the White Sox only got 2. But the White Sox were able to take advantage of it because Framber Valdez, he was a little bit wild today. He only gave up the 2 hits, and he was able to get out of some of the trouble. He got, I believe, at least one double play that I saw in a big situation. But he walked the bases loaded at one point. And in those situations, you can't really get out of those situations without allowing a run scored. So to his credit, with 5 walks and to only allow the 2 runs, I guess that's a good game for Farmer Valdez. It's a better game than his last game where he only lasted 59 pitches and gave up 5 runs. So it's a better game, but in the 3rd and 4th inning, he just, or was it 5th inning, he just looked totally lost.
He did, but let's not put this all on Fromber. Let's put a lot of this squarely on this umpire, who was absolutely terrible today, who called Jose Altuve out on a strike that was 3 inches above the zone, which is basically over his head. Okay. Then you get Fromber Valdez, who's throwing strikes and dotting the line, dotting the strike zone box on the TV. And those are being called balls. So basically the strike zone for Fromber was the size of a baseball card. The strike zone that Cannon was throwing to was the size of the cabinet behind me that you can see most of. I mean, when you have that early on, and have you ever seen Jose Altuve that fired up? I have never seen him that fired up. Now, when you take this lineup, and I try to be positive, yeah, right there, yeah, I had the picture. Stop, Eric, we can't see that; it's blurry. When you take this lineup into the game without Tucker, without Yordan, right there, you know you're missing 2 big bats. And look, Bregman got a couple hits. We had some guys get some hits, but the White Sox only had 2 hits. You know how they scored? Or they scored because the umpire put them on base. The umpire, that first run would not have scored had they not put that run on base. And I think the at-bats would have gone differently had this umpire had a strike zone that was consistent for both teams. And what was weird was Espada got tossed, but they never showed it on TV. Espada showed some emotion. I mean, he was all over that umpire whenever Fromber didn't get a strike. And he basically told him, you've been missing it. Like, you just missed that call. You just called it. And like Jose was like, that dude dropped like 5 F-bombs going on second base. He was so mad. And, is this the year that we see Altuve lean into an umpire and really go off on him? I mean, the frustrations are high right now with the Astros.
Well, I know that we've kind of picked on Joe Espada at times, and I know I did the whole skit earlier. Excuse me, pardon me, I don't want to interrupt you and stuff with that one ejection because he was just very civil. This time he went out there once he was ejected, and he basically let it all out. Now, it's not Joe Girardi where he gets in the face, starts spitting, and like throws his hat down and just gets all crunk out there. But he did go out there and he did give him his business. And the reason why I think he did it was, you just mentioned it, to protect his all-star, to protect his future Hall of Famer and Jose Altuve, because Altuve was out there chirping. He was probably about to get tossed. So what I think Joe Espada said was, I volunteer as tribute. Go ahead and take me. And that's what I think happened in that situation. But it's good to see that fire. I think that's what the players needed to see, because they may see that fire in the locker room, but we don't really see that fire outside. We just see that, oh yeah, well, I think that the Astros need to play better, and all the coach speak that we're used to hearing. And so I think that the Astros the players needed to see this. Now, did he do anything for this game? No. Cannon went out there and pitched a heck of a game. I think he's pitched 7 innings this year with the White Sox, but previous high in the minor leagues was 6 innings. So this was uncharted territory for him. And I thought he was about to go complete game shutout on us. Fortunately or unfortunately, Brebia had to come in and get that final out. But we're going to have to, any closing thoughts on Espada?
No, I just don't think Espada's that guy. I mean, Espada's not your emotional leader. He's not he's not going to be your guy that does that. He's not going to go out there like Aaron Boone with as much criticism as I think Aaron Boone rightfully so gets for the teams he's had that have not performed or achieved what they're supposed to achieve. There's one thing that Aaron Boone does really well is he goes to bat for his guys, literally. And so Espada's just not that guy. And look, You can't make a guy be fiery. And if you try to act like it, then it's not genuine.
Yeah, definitely. In a second, we'll go and look deeper into Valdez and the pitching rotation.
This episode is brought to you by PolicyGenius.com. Get peace of mind by finding the right life insurance. A lot of life is unpredictable, and it is good to have a life insurance plan that gives your family the financial safety net to make sure that you're protected against the unknowns. Policy Genius is the country's leading life insurance marketplace. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options are 100% online and let you avoid unnecessary medical exams. Now, Policy Genius helps you easily compare your options from America's top insurers in just a few clicks. They don't care which company you go with. They want you to get the one that's best for you and your family. So get peace of mind by finding the right life insurance policy with Policy Genius. Head to PolicyGenius.com or click the link below in the description and get your free life insurance quote and see how much you can save at PolicyGenius.com. Here at Locked On Astros, we pride ourselves in getting you the latest news on your team all season long, off-season draft, playoffs, so much more, anything in between. You know what else is year-round? Collection season. That's right. Just because tax season is over doesn't mean the IRS will stop coming after you for unfiled taxes. The IRS can garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, and even seize your property. Don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. Look, I know with all my situations, whether it's my self-employed status, whether it's filing deductions, or just my regular job, I would like someone with over 14 years experience and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau like Tax Network USA, who has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt to help me. Whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require tax planning, or finally hit that parlay this season, and you need help correctly filing, call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/locked-on. See the link in the episode description below.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen. Go and check out Mike O'Connor on the Locked On Astros podcast as well for all his reaction if you can't get enough Astros talk. So I know a lot of people like me were like, hey, where's Yordan Alvarez? He's only missed one game this whole season.
Right.
He can't be out. We'll talk about Verlander in a second, but you can't tell me that Alvarez, there's something wrong with him. At first, they didn't really tell us what's going on, that he was not out of, he's not in the lineup. This was not something that was planned, but apparently he was away for a family matter. So this is nothing that they're worried about, nothing that he's going to be out for extended time. He may be back in the lineup tomorrow, which is Wednesday. So hopefully it's just everything's okay, first of all, with his family, A, and B, hopefully he gets back in the lineup, because as good as he's been swinging the bat recently, it's a noticeable difference without him in the lineup, because you have Altuve, Pena, Bregman, Yainer Diaz, then it kind of drops off a little bit with Singleton. But Dubon is hitting 300, and that's kind of surprising. That kind of surprising me. I forgot. I didn't realize that he brought his average all the way up to 300.
Oh no, yeah, he's the last week or two. I mean, when you were gone, he had some key hits. Remember, you were gone for like an entire week of a cruise, and in a baseball season, when you miss an entire week, there are a lot of things that happen. I mean, gosh, that's really honestly why
paying attention a little bit.
Well, no, Eric, you're on a 7-day cruise. You are not paying attention. Like, what I'm saying is,
right.
Anyways. So the Astros get 7 hits. You know, what kills me, and at some point I want to share, I've got some of the moves that the Astros have made. Some pretty impressive things that we're seeing from the 2023 draft picks moving pretty quickly. And I think Dana Brown deserves a lot of credit. But the 7th inning, you had Yainer Diaz ground out. Then you had John Singleton walk. Dubon flied out. Caratini singled. Okay. Then John Singleton was at third. You had runners on the corner. And what did Jake Myers do? Jake Myers grounded out on one pitch into a force out. And that was the only inning that you really had a chance to do something. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot after that, Eric. And so when you only have one opportunity to really bring guys in, now they were runners in scoring position, they were 0 for 5. They actually did leave 7 on base. But that inning, I thought, look, Jake Myers, this is where you got
He
to
had a
do it.
chance, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's his birthday today too.
Well, there you go. And yeah, I don't read much into birthday games unless it's someone like they say like Bregman's homered like 8 birthdays or whatever. But the bottom line is, man, I just watch tomorrow. You know what the Astros are going to do? They're going to come out. They're going to just handle Crochet. Remember when they were going against Scooble? We were like, oh my God, Scooble's going to come in here and he's going to win game 1 for the Tigers. No, we made him look bad. So the Astros
It's
have
the unknown factor. It's like that they don't when they have a pitcher where they don't have much tape against or whatever. It's like they can't seem to figure them out. But somebody where there's a lot of tape out there,
right.
Something they seem to figure it out for some reason.
Yeah, for some reason. So, real quick before we move on to Alvarez and Verlander, there's some big there's a lot of movement in our minor league system. And I just got this graphic right here. This was put up by the Astros minor league, their Astros Development X account. Bryce Matthews is in AA now. Then you have Ethan Pecco, who was a guest on our show recently. He has moved to High A Asheville. Jancel Villarreal, he has gone from the Florida Complex League to Single A, which means he's playing real baseball now. And then Andrews Sosa has gone from DSL, the Dominican Summer League, to the Florida Complex League. And so now you have guys moving. You're going to see more movements throughout the season. We saw Nick Hernandez was activated because of Justin Verlander going on the IL. And so it was just one of those things. Oh, there you go. Bryce had a bases loaded double tonight and 2 stolen bases. Yeah, his first at bat was a walk as a hook. Bryce Matthews may end up in Sugarland before too long.
Maybe fast tracked, yeah. Especially the Astros are going to lose Alex Bregman. That may be the answer. At maybe I don't know if he plays third base, but that may be a situation where you have to move him to the hot corner if the Astros don't re-sign Alex Bregman.
I think if Alex Bregman's not here next year, I think I can see Bryce Matthews. I mean, look, this kid is flying through the system. But Eric, when I was looking over at Astros future, and they have the Corpus Christi Hooks minor league roster, and dude, it is impressive. Bryce Matthews, Jerron Williams, Pascal Ferreras, Zach DeCenzo, who's on the IL, but they have Jacob Melton, Zach Cole, Colin Barber, Kennedy Corona, Colin Price, and Miguel Palma, who's on the IL. But they've got an impressive and a very interesting lineup and group of guys. So if you're in Corpus, man, you look, if you're in the Corpus area, you might as well go see Bryce now because he probably won't be there very long.
Yeah, I think so. I think that he was tearing up Single A. So I think that the progression is to move him up to AA, and if he starts hitting the cover off the ball, they're going to move him up to AAA. And I don't think that it'll be too long before he gets up to the Astros. I don't think it'll be this year, but I think maybe at some point next year. I think you're going to probably with him, since he was a first round pick, and the Astros, quote unquote, don't trade him this year. I think they're going to probably have to manipulate his service time next year, and you may not see him until maybe June or late April or something like that. But he is going to be a big part of the Astros future, and I think we're going to see it a little bit sooner than we might think. And I know that we've been talking about how the Astros have been kind of manipulating the IL, or, oh, well, we're not going to put this guy on the IL because maybe there's a chance he's going to start. We don't need any more pitchers. Yes, you do need more pitchers. Have you seen how your pitchers are struggling? And so the Astros need to make some type of move at the trade deadline. If they feel like they're absolutely in it at all, they're going to have to do it. But Brett, before we talk about Verlander, do you realize the Astros are now 10 games behind the Mariners?
Yes,
10 games.
But they're only 7 games under 500. And So there's that. I know they're 10 games. I know the Mariners are taking care of business. You got to hand it to them, and this division, look, the Mets are now leading the Rangers 7-6. So as long as we can keep pace and as long as we can stay in second place, are you saying there's a chance, H-Town? Yeah. I'm saying there's a chance, but oh my gosh, this was it's a bad loss today. You lost to a team that had 2 hits. They scored 2 runs. You had 7 and got nothing. Wow.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and discuss what's going on with Verlander a little bit deeper and what's the rotation plans for the rest of the series next.
This episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Millions of parts for your MVP. Win every time with parts that fit your ride. Passion, drive, and patience, the formula for winning championships, is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered with over 122 million parts. For your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for every time, with your money back guaranteed. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need, or at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive with ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit, only available to U.S. customers. Prize Picks is America's number one fantasy sports app with more than 5 million members. It's the most fun, exciting way to play fantasy sports. That's right, with players and games that you can pick more or less on, player stats for your shot to win 100 times your cash. And in June, not only is it sports, but they also have esports this month. And every Wednesday and Saturday in June, if your lineup doesn't win, you'll get your entry fee back. Choose from Counter-Strike 2, Call of Duty, League of Legends, and more. I made my first $10 deposit and received an instant $10 bonus. If you have the skills, you can play for a shot to win big. That's right. Prize Picks is available in 30 states, more than 30 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. They even offer injury insurance in case the player you pick gets injured. It won't count against you at the end of the game. So make sure you download the app today and use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for your first deposit match of up to $100. That's LOCKEDONMLB. Deposit, you'll get a first deposit match of up to $100 on Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube and go ahead and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, go and check us out. And I know everybody want to see Justin Verlander back with the Houston Astros last year. I know that yesterday we talked about, I wonder if Justin Verlander will reach 140 innings to have the option vest for 2025. And then would they re-sign Justin Verlander if the option doesn't vest? Something to take in consideration is if the option doesn't vest, that means the money that the Mets were going to give the Astros also would not be included. So if you want Justin Verlander to come back at a discount rate, hopefully he gets to 140 innings. So I believe that means he's going to have to pitch another 83 innings. So that means that he has to, let's say he comes back when eligible, maybe around July 1st or so. Let's say that's he's going to miss some time. We saw with Christian Javier coming back with a stiff neck, whatever they're calling this. They're not going to rush him back. If he comes back around July 1st, he's probably going to go on a rehab start, maybe not. But the Astros are as motivated as Justin Verlander is to reach that 140 inning mark.
But are they? Are they? I mean, because that's a player option, right?
No, it's automatically clicks in only if he reaches 140 innings.
But do you think the Astros want him to get the 140 now?
Well, if the Mets are paying for a majority of it, yeah. because
Okay, yeah.
they're paying half of the $35 million.
Okay,
So
that
it's
makes
still even if Verlander is half of the player that you used to be, you're only paying for half that player. The value of Justin Verlander is valued way more than half of what you're going to be paying. So to get a player for the same value of Justin Verlander, you're going to have to pay around that's about 17.5 million.
yeah,
So
I
you're
thought
going to
that.
have to pay about 25 million to get somebody for an equal value. So
Okay.
yes, you're taking a luxury tax threshold hit, but at the same time, I think the Astros are motivated for him to reach this luxury tax threshold. I don't know if there's any. Well, we want him back. We're going to go ahead and slide it under, or just go ahead and automatically do it. I don't know, or does it have to automatically hit 140? I don't know. I'm not a contract genius, but
No, I
I
thought
would say.
okay, but the 17 million is a player option, right?
No.
Okay, because it says condition. Okay, so you're right. So it does vest in 2025 at 17.5 million for 2024. And what has to happen for that? I'm just doing this so everybody understands, and so I understand. If he reaches 140 innings, then he gets that money.
Right. And then the Mets pay for half of it, like I said.
Okay. Because I see the Mets at 25. All right. Sorry. I was having a hard time. I had to go look at it myself at Spotrac. I'm a visual learner, and I know some people listening, I know I get confused. And so I was just trying to clarify it for myself and for others. The thing is, though, if he doesn't get the 140, you don't have to pay him, correct? And if you don't pay him, are the Mets on the hook for all of it?
The Mets don't have to pay any of it.
Oh, they're not.
So,
So,
they don't have to pay any of it. So the Mets
interesting.
are like, please don't reach 140 innings. Please don't reach 140
Oh,
innings.
okay, that makes sense. Okay. So the Mets are rooting against them.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying. Okay. But here's the thing, Eric. We've got so many pitchers that are down. They were saying Thursday that Arrighetti could go on full rest. Also, Henley will be is scheduled to pitch Thursday for Sugarland. He could get called up if they need to. They could move someone down in place of him. He is in AAA. But what they could do is they could go with the bullpen. Even if Arrighetti does pitch, they could have Arrighetti, they could have Hernandez, and then they could also have Contreras as well. I think I just completely forgot about Contreras. They have Contreras up, so Henley won't come up. Contreras will I think be a part of this mix. If they don't start Arrighetti, maybe they go Hernandez Contreras or Contreras Hernandez. But you got three guys that can get you to the 8th inning. If you can hold this offense down, I mean, they only had 2 hits today. If you can hold this offense down, and if you don't get another crap calling from the umpire behind the plate, you may actually be able to scratch across 2 wins, even with this offense being extremely underperforming and consistent.
Yes, you've mentioned Blue Ball before, but he's not on the 40-man roster. So, but he's going to start for the Space Cowboys on Friday. Eric Lauer could be he's scheduled to start on Saturday. He could be option as well, but the Astros could go with a bullpen game as well. But likely, I think Joe Espada said before the game, they're likely going to go with a Spencer Arrighetti and kind of bring the guys on a short rest. And Arrighetti only pitched through so many pitches the last game, so I don't think that's going to be that big a deal. So we'll see what happens. But Justin Verlander is going to be a big miss for this team. The Astros were just starting to click. And while we're talking about injuries, let's go and talk about Kyle Tucker. There's been no improvement on Kyle Tucker. He hasn't started doing any type of baseball activities. So until he starts doing baseball activities, he's not able to return, basically.
Yeah. This team, Eric, this team is very frustrating to watch in games when you think they're just going to go out there and just like gangbusters. But then again, you didn't have a lot of your big guns in there, and a couple singles and stuff. Bregman just got in front. It was Bregman or Altuve just got in front of a curveball and almost hit a home run. I mean, one or two hits, Eric, and this game changes. So,
Yeah.
But you know what? It didn't happen. So let's move on. Let's brush it off. When it hits midnight, we forget about this game and we move forward, right? That's the only thing we can do.
Yeah, Joe Espada said keep looking at it. It's just taking a while to heal. The soreness is still there, but there's no damage to the bone. It just needs some time to heal. So the longer he stays on the IL, the more likely that Kyle Tucker is going to need a stint with the Sugarland Space Cowboys or the Hooks or something. So if you want to go see Kyle Tucker play a little bit more intimate action, go ahead and start looking at the Space Cowboys tickets. But that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. He is Brett Chancey, and we are hoping that the Astros have a much better outcome tomorrow, because this game, 7 hits compared to 2 hits, you should win this game. Unfortunately, the Astros did not, and Framber Valdez was just a bit wild. But next game, hopefully, we have a different outcome. Thank you for subscribing to us and making us your first listen. And Brett, go ahead and close us out.
Hey, that game sucked. Let's go play a better game tomorrow. Y'all have a good one. Go Stros.
Oh, stay safe with the flooding tomorrow if that happens. Go Stros.
Eric's predicting floods. Weatherman Eric.